Good evening, guys, and welcome to the Tactical Devils. My name is Jarvis Cocker, and my co-host is Stu Woolley, or Mr. Woolley, how I like to call him, because he's so knowledgeable when it comes to football. So I have to address him more formal. So we have a good, yeah. We have a difficult game coming up. We are going away to Anfield to face, dare I say it, the mighty Liverpool at the moment, flying high, top of the table. And we are 14th, 15th in the table, something like
14th.
that.
14th.
Yeah, 14th.
Yeah, either 14th, 15th, it's an irrelevance, but we're languishing, as TalkSport today suggested, relegation threatened Manchester United go to tabletop as Liverpool. Pathetic, isn't it? I mean, Jesus Christ. It's pathetic. But,
Yes.
it is what it is. That's where we are. And we've only got ourselves to blame. As a group of players, as a team, as an organisation, we've only got ourselves to blame. So, but sometimes, you just got to draw a line under it.
Yeah.
You got to start again. And that's what we need to do. Sunday.
Well, there's only one thing to do. It's to win the next game. That's so easy in football. You can just win the next game and everything's hunky-dory. And we all know that. If we beat Liverpool on Sunday, everything will be fine. It will
be. Everybody will have a great week. We don't play again, I don't think, to the weekend, do we? So we don't play midweek.
Yeah.
So, again, until we play Arsenal in the FA Cup. So, if we can go to Arsenal in the FA Cup with a win at Anfield or even a draw at Anfield under our belts, then, hopefully the so-called confidence in football will come back. And, so that's what we're looking for, old friends. We're looking for a bit of confidence. But what I'm looking for is some real aggression on Sunday. I want to go to Anfield and I want to be aggressive. I want Amorim to set the team up aggressive. So, do something like, we're going to talk about Arne Slot in a minute. And I was talking to a very good, very, very close friend of mine who's a massive Liverpool supporter. He'll be there Sunday. He's already been putting it in the group chat all week, prepared to start crying, etc., etc., etc. But he talks about, and I did a little bit of research into it, but he talks about, because I said to him, I made the point that I felt that Slot's got the easiest gig in world football right now, because he's gone into a team. They didn't need to rebuild. They didn't make any signings apart from Chiesa in the summer, and Chiesa, as we know, hasn't made any starting.
No, it's not even in the squad.
Not even in the squad.
Yeah,
he's. I know he was injured when he arrived, but he's not the Chiesa we all know. So Slot's come into a team that's been developing over 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. Under Klopp, and has finished second and first and third and scored 90 plus points on most seasons. Salah's been up there with the very best in terms of goal scoring. Their defense has been great. I mean, obviously, Jarvis, don't forget, they house the world's greatest ever defender in Van Dijk. I mean, it's up for debate, but according to Jamie Carragher, he's the GOAT of defending. So we would argue differently. Rio Ferdinand, Vidic, Stam, Bruce, Pallister. We could go on, really.
To be honest, Van Dijk has done well. I am a United fan, but I also love football and I have respect for him. He's really good, and the thing is, it's almost gotten better. I thought he was on the decline, but now
I think what's happened to Van Dijk is, and I think you're right. I think last season was a poor season for him. He was suffering from niggles, but he was suffering from an issue with partners and trusting his partners. I don't think he really trusted them. Alisson was out for long periods of time, wasn't he, last season as well? So they seem to have got a handle on injuries. But the point of what I was getting at is, I did say to him, which I thought I'd wind him up here. I thought, what's Slot done to warrant this Messiah tag that all you Liverpool fans have got with him, because the foundations was laid with Klopp, and he was making a few points which I had to agree with reluctantly, but I had to agree with them. And one of the points that he makes more than anything, and we'll run into this over the next few minutes, is that Slot has a tendency to make sure whatever happens, whatever phase of play there is, the right person is in the right area of the pitch to hone and do, to be the most skilled position within that area. And I thought quite interesting. So whatever formation they play, and I think Iwane's made a point. I believe the 3-4-3 is the best tactical matchup against 4-2-3-1. Well, actually, we'll go into this in a minute.
Yes, we will. We will.
Slot is one of these multi-system managers, and there's not many of those around. And what we mean by that is he may well start, and me and Jarvis have been discussing this, he may well start with a 4-2-2, but he will morph into a 4-2-3-1. He will morph into a 3-4-3 or a 4-3-3. He has the players to be able to morph and transition into these types of formations. And what we've noticed, and again, we'll run through this with you, is that problem, and it's caused a problem for 90% of Premier League teams this season. That particular area is all encompassing for what and how he needs to play and wants his team to perform. But I found that really, really difficult to argue against. I had a look at it, and he's right. They do. So as well as talented individuals, Jarvis, that is a dangerous mix. When you've got talented individuals, a workman-like group of players at the same time, and an ability to interchange formations at the click of a finger is a hugely dangerous mix. And that is why you will see Liverpool 7 or 8, 10, 15 points clear of Manchester City at this point in the season.
I was actually expecting, they started the season well, but I was expecting them to be found out, but I was wrong. They haven't been found out. There's no way countering this Slotball, Arne Slotball, so far as I've seen, because as you so eloquently put it, he has a way to change up his style, and the interchange position, they change formation all the time, and if the opposition do this, he do that. So there's always plan B, plan C, plan D, and he adapts to the game itself all the time.
Yeah.
So
but what you'll notice,
it's hard to figure out how to actually beat him.
Yeah, but what you'll find about this more than anything, and here's the most dangerous part of that whole scenario, is it's the players themselves that are figuring out what to do. It's not necessarily instructions coming from Slot. There is and we know this, you have your team meeting on a Thursday prior to the game on a Saturday or a Sunday, and you were talking about the opposition, you were talking about the way they play, you were talking about their ball possession, how they transition, what is the longest period of time. They will go into detail. Who holds the ball the longest at his feet at Manchester United? Who is it? Is it Martinez? Is it Casemiro? Is it Agartha? And they will know this, and they will adjust to a variety of patterns of play during the game. Something that I've been arguing for 5 years, pal, that Manchester United should be doing and don't do. So you've got a group of players that are coached and drilled. Okay, you have to say that. But when they walk over that pitch, over that white line, they become their own individual and collective managers. And that's what's making it more difficult to beat. I'm not saying Slot's a genius, because I don't think that he necessarily is. And the tactical room is going to go absolutely inferno when we talk about the differences between what Ten Hag was trying to achieve in his way of playing as to where Slot is at the moment. So
I agree. We talked about it before the show, and similarities with Ten Hag, but Nash comes in, big up Nash. He comes in and say people. I think people I think are underestimating the impact of Klopp. He created a system similar to what Cruyff did in Barca. It's all little tweaks thereafter for managers that follows. So. It's on the Klopp foundation now. Arne Slot has taken over, but he has made it his own, I would say, because Liverpool played more expansive. They opened up, they attacked with much more of a power, and they left gaps behind. When they're attacking, and they always try to attack and counterattack and transition. And the first press, and this is different from Klopp, but we will come to it. And I just want to, before we go into it, I just want to say hi to everybody who's in the house. We have Aaron in the house. Big up Aaron, who is officially now a moderator at this channel.
Yes,
And
big
the
up,
same
Aaron.
with J United. So welcome to the team as moderators. We want to try to create a good atmosphere and a good community in this channel. We have Moreni Lavani. Big up Lavani. It's good to see you in the house and in the chat. Madhouse comes in. I will never give you up, Jarvis. Never gonna give you up.
Yeah,
Never gets old. Mick
never
Ruby,
get
big up
bored of it, no.
lads. We have Nash in the house. We have we have Das Salford 69. Big up Das Salford. Is that Sal? Yes, it probably is. And
Big up all.
obviously, Trevor Wade is here to bust our balls as usual. So it will be a good show. And guys and girls, remember, smash the like, subscribe, and all that jazz. We are currently on 250 subs. We are reaching
250 subs, aren't we? Yeah.
500 by the end of January. That will be the aim, and hopefully we can be a real channel, monetized, and all of that jazz. So yeah,
So I'm getting
let's
a
go.
question before we start, Giles. I'm getting a question about the top. It's just a training top that I bought. So it's no no team in particular. It's just a training top that I wear when I train or something along those lines. So it's just a training top. It's just a graphic top. Nothing major.
It's a
No
nice
team
top.
affiliation. It's
Looks
okay
really
actually.
looks really well on you.
Yeah,
Like,
I've had it. I've had it a couple of weeks.
enhances the guns, when you.
Yes, well, I'm trying not to. Yes, I've had it a couple of weeks, and I thought I'd debut it tonight on the show. It's also a debut of the top, Daz. I'm a huge Adidas fan, unfortunately, pal. So, as Jarvis will attest to, I got.
If there's any sponsors out there, call Stu.
Please. Is this guy supposed to be United? No,
Yeah.
don't bother. What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean?
I don't know. We
What
clarify.
Clarify.
Stu, we have this guy, MUTube,
Mm.
streamer highlight 61, the guy from TikTok. Who
Oh, is
shared.
that the guy? Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Big
Yes.
up,
Well,
big up.
yeah, we saw that clip. I think we're on about 26,000 views on that.
Yeah.
You might be able to tell us.
It's good. It's good. We need all the help we can get.
We do.
So yeah, let's just go into it, Stu, and talk about Arne Slot. What can we expect from him? What type of formation is he playing? What type of football is he playing? And all that. And this is a channel where you're allowed to wear whatever you want. It's
We
just
wear
the way
what we
it is.
want on here, pal.
Yeah.
We wear what we want. If you don't like it, thanks for watching. We wear what we want, mate. It's one of them.
26,000
views. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. What to expect? Well, look, that's the interesting thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can have any expectation on what to expect from Arne Slot, and that's the key to the way that he's drilled Liverpool and the way that he allows their players in many ways to circumvent the game themselves. He's got a system of play, but it's an interchanging system of play, as we spoke about earlier. And I think the real difficulty that teams are having is that not only do they press quite high up front in phase 4, but they're brilliant at phase 1 in their play of actually moving it from the back. Now, the issue that we'll have on Sunday, and we don't know, and we haven't picked a team yet, have we?
No, we haven't.
We haven't picked the United 11 yet. We think we know how Liverpool are going to line up, but I like Daz, but your boy Daz, just leave the chat then, mate. Yeah, anyone could be a tough guy on a keyboard. Just leave the chat, fella. You're boring. Go. Or we'll just kick you out. Depending on what you do with your comments, I'll get the moderators to kick you out. Okay, just disappear. Sorry, Jarvis, but I'm not putting up with that.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
I'm not putting up with that shit. I've lost some school of thought. What was I talking about?
Arne Slot, how he sets up his team and his
Yeah, so
formation.
so let's put it beyond tactics.
What I understand, he likes to overload centrally with the central areas and put a lot of people there. He's not that focused on keeping the width.
Yeah. So perhaps if we put up your tactic board,
yes,
then we can have a look. Now we don't, as I say, we don't know how Liverpool are going to set up. We think they'll probably go and start with a 4-2-3-1, but not 100% sure. Or he could start with a 4-2-2 and then move Salah, Diaz kind of up front, which allows Jones and Gakpo, Gravenberch and McAllister to stay through the middle. But the interesting thing is, from phase one, if we don't press, if we don't use Højlund and we don't use, just say, for example, we run with this team that we've got on the screen at the moment. So if we don't press with Højlund, Ahmad and Bruno, then, and we allow Alisson, Van Dijk, Robertson, Trent, Konate, whoever, to bring the ball out, they'll move it quickly into McAllister. They'll move it quickly then into Gravenberch. And Gravenberch is actually the key to this particular system because he's the power runner. So we always talk about midfielders having about a 20, 30 yard running kind of cycle. That's what he does. If he receives it in from Konate, he'll turn on it and he'll run with it. If it goes to McAllister, then he'll push off McAllister, try and receive the ball and run with it. And Jones will either do one or two things. Salah, Gakpo will go out slightly wide. Diaz will run through the middle, or he'll interchange with Salah, or he'll interchange with Gakpo. But Jones will be the runner in behind. If it's not Jones, it's McAllister, and if it's not McAllister, it's Gravenberch. And that's the key to the way that Liverpool.
And Soberfly, if he plays.
Oh, Soberfly. They vertically pass. Okay, they vertically pass. They don't pass diagonal. They don't pass to the right. They don't pass to the left. They run the vertical pass to clear the lines in between the defensive trio in the midfield for potentially of Manchester United. So I think, interestingly enough, phase two, what he calls phase two, is the most critical part of their attacking, because also what you'll find is they'll bring Robertson and they'll bring Trent Alexander. They'll tuck in. They don't go between your traditional wingers. And they tuck in for a reason. There'll be one or the other, depending on which size they're attacking from. But the reason is, if there is a turnover of ball, they've got enough bodies in there to hopefully stem the transition. It's a really interesting thing. If they manage to get McAllister, Gravenberch or Jones over the halfway line, that's when they really become aggressive in their press and their speed. So you get the ball to Diaz, you get the ball to Salah, you get the ball to Gakpo, and they are going to just push and push and push the ball around. Again, we don't know who's playing it. We'll have to have a quick look at it. Around the likes of Mazzari, around the likes of Anthony, which means that Ahmad's got to come and tuck inside. Bruno's got to tuck inside as well. So their midfield trio is absolute key to the way that they are. And then, of course, once they're further up and they're in the final third, you've then got the issue of you've got to deal with him somehow. And you've got to So ultimately, they'll start from the back, they'll play out from the back, and they'll push it through the middle of midfield as quickly as they can. That's their key element. And it's not even a surprise, because you see it all the time. You see this happen. You see this transformation. You see this transition all the time. But they're very good ball players. They're comfortable at the ball. They'll take the ball in tight areas. They'll move the ball quickly. They'll move into space. But I think, as we touched on it, Slot allows the players to take control. So if it doesn't necessarily, if a 4-2-2 is not working, or a 3-5-3, 4-2-3-1 isn't working, they can adapt to what the opposition is doing.
But when I think of how he plays, I always think of the 4-2-2. It's just me because I see Jones as more like this. How I
Yeah,
see it. It's a 4-2-2. You remember Ralph Ragnick? He used to play the 4-2-2
yeah.
in the way he played. Um, so for us, for example, if we're going to play out from the back, I think they will be aggressive. They will cut out passing lanes, and but they will be really narrow, and the outlet will be here and here. How I see it, because
Yeah,
he likes to sit with the back four. He don't like to open up, and that's why he always like to be in balance. So but the problem is, I think they will let us play the ball out here, and then they will in a way trap us.
they will allow us to have the ball. Yeah, probably about 30 yards, 25 to 30 yards.
Yeah.
They'll allow us to pull out with that, and then they'll hit us. And this is what I was saying
Mm,
about the aggressive play in the middle by the middle trio.
mm,
They're
mm,
quick, they're strong, they can win the ball, they can tackle, which is something we don't do. But more importantly, Jarvis, they use the ball and they're not
mm.
afraid to commit. And that's what I like about, unfortunately, Liverpool at this point in time. They're not
Mm.
scared. It might be
Ab-
worth saying that we don't
Abdi has a
play.
question
Yeah.
here for you, Stu. Why not Casemiro and Ugarte in midfield?
What we've got here, guys, we've not picked a United 11 yet.
Nah, it's just a draft,
It's
first
just
draft.
a draft. It's something
Yeah.
we were talking about a couple of days ago, and we left it
Mm,
on the tactics board. We haven't. This is not what we think it will be. We'll go through in a moment what I think it will be,
mm, mm,
and why we hope it will be like that. Um, but you're absolutely right, because if you've got the ball where Gakpo is, Salah will be more in. Gravenberch will
mm.
be more central, so Gravenberch will be in between Mino and Agate there.
Yeah, yeah.
But he'll be in between there, and then you've got Salah probably pushing on Delict.
Where's the yeah, like
Yeah,
this.
yeah, exactly right. So you're looking at a group of players chasing
Mm,
down the ball to win
mm,
it, and then move it
mm.
into the attacking
Or
areas.
not just to win it, but force us to play it long.
But
And
that's
and
the
they
thing.
have players like Konate, Van Dijk, who are dominantly aerials and will win the ball and take it down. And then they have a lot of players high up the pitch, and they are dangerous in the attack, because then he's ready to start taking a dig at us.
Yes,
So
which is why we've got to have better players on the ball in tight areas.
yeah,
So the key to this game for us will be having the players that can receive the ball in tight areas, don't panic with the ball,
yeah.
and then use the ball better. So that
But Stu, what I
requires,
see, what I lack now from this Amorim system is when we
yes,
when we try to play out from the back, we go to one side. But if the fullback wingback is pinned down, they usually panic. We saw Dallo last game, or against Manchester City, for example, trying to make a difficult pass
right.
across from a press position, and it's very dangerous because it can be intercepted if it's a bad pass. So what I would like to see from our fullbacks, wingbacks, is to stop with the ball, turn, and start switch to the other side.
You
Be
see,
confident on the ball, even under pressure. But we haven't seen this with the Amorim system so far with this Man United team. I saw it a lot of time in Sporting. What I've seen a couple of games, they're not rushing the possession. They take their time, and we have talked about the Amrim system. He likes to trap the opposition. He wants to lure them
yeah,
up the pitch to create a space in behind, but we don't do that because we don't have the players, and especially it's Dallo. And I think because he's a right footer, it's hard for him to find the right passing angles. And
so
it,
as it
and
happens, I don't want to see us do that on Sunday.
yeah,
I don't want to see us dicking about at the back with the ball. I want to see us be a
okay,
bit more progressive with the football. He can still play his 3-4-3, or as I would like to see, a 3-5-2, but he can be
mm,
more progressive. He doesn't have to go short all the time. We don't have to fall into this trap of playing out the back all the
no,
time. You know, there's an opportunity for Ahmed to receive the ball. There's an opportunity because Robertson and Ahmad are roughly the same height, so he's not going to lose a duel in terms of the air, and he shouldn't lose a duel in terms of his strength. Anthony, again, depending on who we choose to play left back, I'd like to see them take it higher up. Again, it doesn't necessarily mean Trent Alexander-Arnold's he's not proficient in the air. He's very good with the ball.
He's not.
So these are things that I think should be taken more into account.
But again, we have struggled with running the diagonals into the channels. We have been talking a lot about
but I think that's
diagonal runs, and this is, for example, with Højlund, he needs to direct his runs more into this area, and the same with Bruno. We don't have to roam all the way down here, and stay in his position and be there so he can help. We have to attack this area behind Robertson, behind Trent, drag the opposition out, create space, so we can come on the second wave and be dangerous in this area, area 14, as a lot of tacticals call it, so we can start creating chances and big chances, because we want to receive the ball, we want to run with it, play it in here, play it, or play it against the back post or behind the two central defenders, so it's very hard to defend against. So this is the thing we want to do, but we haven't seen so far.
But there's a reason why we don't do that. There's a reason why we can't do that. And if you've got, if you put Bruno back where he is, leave Anthony where he is, and leave Mazzari where they are.
Bruno here.
Yeah, Bruno was tucked in. Yeah, Yoro was back. Here's your reason, and your reason is look at the distance. From the pass to De Ligt to Anthony. So, for example, look at the distance. He's 15 yards away from him. And you've got Salah perfectly placed, and he is perfectly placed there to take it. So if Bruno doesn't stretch wide, then it doesn't matter. We'll never, ever get into that area, because what happens is with a short pass, you've then got to maneuver the ball in shorter spurts rather than one. I'm not saying we go long ball, but you can elongate your pass. If Mazzari was the other side of Salah, for example.
But let's say here we try to play out from the back. I will give an example of how Arne Slot sets up, because he has two. He has one winger as a striker and one false nine. So how they press, they angle the run like this from one side, both of them. They angle the runs, so they force. If you press like this, you force Yoro, for example, to play the ball to De Ligt, and Jones is already there. So they are pressing us to do this. They want us to give the ball to him. So have already Salah there. Trent is ready to jump, and Jones is already on the trajectory to press. So, and McAllister, Gravenberch will be there. So they will lock down. And our wingbacks are not good enough. And in these situations, they will try to hoof the ball high. And Van Dijk
by pushing Anthony the other side of Salah from the beginning, that won't happen, and it can't happen. And if you push Bruno slightly out towards, so push Anthony the other side of Salah. Keep going.
Inside.
Other side.
Yeah.
No, other side, outside of him, so to speak.
So here.
Yeah, a bit further on. Okay. Bruno, push him slightly further, about halfway. That's it, about there. You've got an out. Immediately, you've got an out by 2 to 5 yards. You have an out, and you're absolutely right about the way that they press. You're 100% right about the way they press. So De Ligt has got to be more creative, and he's got to lob the ball over.
Or Martinez, most likely.
Yeah. Or Martinez, he's got to be more creative and lob the ball over to Anthony. Anthony can control it, move it quickly into Bruno, and you're away. There are ways out of that. They can come and they can press us as much as they like. But if we're already set up for that pre-press, so to speak, you can work your way out of it, no problem. It really isn't. It's not difficult to do. And the same with Mazzari, by the way. You would move Mazzari slightly up. This is why I want to avoid allowing them to press us at the back. I don't want that, because we won't press them at the back the way that they press us. We won't give Van Dijk no time. We won't give Konate or whoever no time. We won't press Robertson, and we won't press Trent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before we move on and talk more about this Liverpool team and how we expect them to attack us, I want the chat and everybody to get involved and give us your starting 11, and let's just go through position by position really quick. We don't want to dilly dally too much because we don't have the answers. It's just a quick little game. So left wide, right wide centre back. I suspect it will be either De Ligt or Lenny Yoro. So who do you think will start in this position?
Well, ideally, my back three would be Yoro in the middle, De Ligt wide left, and Maguire wide right. That would be my ideal three for this game.
Okay. What are the chat saying? Oh, we have Batham in the chat. So big up. Batham, good to see you. Yeah. So who do you think will play? You think De Ligt will play right or
I
left?
think De Ligt will play left. I think Martinez comes out. Yeah, I think Martinez comes out. I think De Ligt Yoro. And I am torn, by the way, between Maguire and Mazzari for right centre back.
Okay.
If we go with Mazzari, then you've got to bring in Dallo, and I don't think Dallo's right for this game.
No, neither do I. Well, let's just for fun
So therein lies my dilemma.
Yeah. Mark comes in and say Masraoui, Maguire, and Lenny Yoro as the three central players in defense.
Again, that wouldn't be an issue. I think we're all in agreement. I think Martinez misses out. I think that's one for sure.
And he also like to start with Garnacho on left and Anthony on the right. Bruno, Ahmad, and Xerxes up front. Bath time comes in and say I play Masraoui left, Maguire central, and De Ligt
right.
Right.
Again, that's a nice balance. You know, they're all three good balances. But our problem then is right back or left back. That's our issue.
I would go more like, because I don't see De Ligt as a passer, the guy as you talked about, the guy who can lob the ball to Anthony or find Bruno over the lines to cross this line here or this line here. So it's a line breaking passes. I don't see De Ligt doing this. I've seen him play a lot of long balls in his
He's
position.
not an accurate passer. He's not an efficient passer of football. No, I agree. But I don't know enough about Yoro, and I haven't seen enough to see whether Yoro's more.
But that's what you lose when you drop Martinez, because Martinez, yes, he's been a defensive liability, but again, us playing out from the back, he's one of our best players.
Yeah, but at the moment, he's as we kind of identified, he is a bit of a defensive liability, and I don't think we can afford that liability. We've got to be as crisp and as strong as we possibly can on Sunday, and I just don't see. No, I just don't see Martinez playing.
To Batham comes in. This is his 11. Unana, Masraoui, Maguire, De Ligt, Anthony, Dallo, Ugarte, Ahmad, the right wing back. Who? Anthony and Dallo.
So he's got. Let's have a look. He's got Maguire, De Ligt, left wing back. Maguire, De Ligt. Okay. Left wing back.
Okay, so it's Ugarte, Kobe centrally,
right
and Bruno, Ahmad.
Ahmad, right wing back. So he's got Ahmad right wing back. Anthony.
Kobe as the 10. Okay. So Dallo in midfield.
He's got Medallo and Ugarte, yeah. In midfield. Kobe's a 10, Bruno Rasmus. Okay, that's interesting.
Very interesting. Stephanie comes in, 18 likes. Thank you, Stephanie. Always keeping account of the likes. So that's fantastic. Guys and girls, if you haven't, we are 56 people watching from X and YouTube at the moment. So yeah, smash the like. Well, let me just set up how I think
What
Amorim will
you.
start. So
Yeah,
I believe Martinez will play left. I also almost sure that he will start Maguire centrally. It's what he's been doing the last 2 to 3 games. And on the right, it's between Masraoui and De Ligt and Lenioro. But I think he will start with Masraoui on right wing back, so it will be De Ligt because of experience. Lenioro, it's tough going away to Anfield.
it is tough. It is.
So this is how I believe he will start. Masraoui on one side, and on the other side, I don't like it, but
He'll
I
go with
believe it
Dallo.
will be
Yeah, he'll go with
Dallo
Dallo.
again. Centrally, I think we will see Ugarte and Mainu, and Bruno, Ahmad, and Hoyland up front. So this is how I believe Amorim will start.
That isn't good enough to beat
No,
Liverpool at Anfield. That
but this
team,
is
that team won't beat Liverpool at Anfield.
no. I think a lot of people agrees with you, but this is just my.
Yeah. No, I
It's
think
not
he
my
probably
how
will.
I would set up the team, but how I think
Yeah.
Amorim will start. But
I,
let's just go back to the. We don't know the lineup, but let's just go with this and
okay.
work from there.
So my issue with everything that we've done at the moment is, and as a 3-4-3, you don't have a 3-4-3. You're not set up to play out from the back. Okay, all this playing out from the back is just nonsense. Quite frankly,
Okay.
it doesn't really get you started because we don't have the personnel to get started from the back. Every time we play it short, we have to go back. So you go back from Dallo to Martinez, Martinez to Maguire, Maguire to Dallo, Dallo to Mazzari. Then it goes back to De Ligt. Okay. And the problem is we don't have enough common sense to know when to go forward and when to play it short. We don't have enough movement in from Ugarte and Maino. So when they do come and take the ball, you've got 4 players in and around there. With McAllister, Gravenbach, Jones and Diaz, which will swallow anybody up. Liverpool will know this and they will hit us and they will press us at the back. They will press an underconfident and Arne. They'll definitely press Maguire, De Ligt, and they'll aerially press Martinez because we're just not strong in those areas. Jones is a tall player, remember. He's taller than Martinez. And that's where Jones will position himself. Salah and Dallo, Salah will be rubbing his hands together to be playing Dallo. And Gapco not so much with Mazzari. But I certainly think that Salah will really attack Dallo. So backed up by Trent, Gapco backed up by Robertson, with that back 3 playing out from the back, we'll be in a world of pain. We'll just be in a complete world of pain. Van Dijk and Konate or whoever will just be tying their bootlaces for 90 minutes because we won't get out. So we've got to do something different. And you've got to be braver at Anfield, and we can't wilt like we did against Newcastle with their pressing. Gordon pressed us terribly. Isak pressed us. Joe Linton pressed us. Tonali pressed us. Bruno Guimaraes, they pressed us. Lewis Hall at the back pressed us. And they're nowhere near as good as Liverpool's front 6.
Yeah.
They just aren't. They just aren't. They're good, but they just aren't as good as.
But still, we see a lot of people in the chat comes in with there's almost the same
People
question.
say we need
We need
wingers and not
wingers.
wingers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then MUTube also. I can't understand why you play defensive wingbacks. Do you have a good explanation why
So
Amorim
let's.
chooses? Is it because of lack of options?
I think it's purely lack of options. He just doesn't have the options. So let's play devil's advocate, then, shall we? And if we are to play Martinez, okay,
Yep.
you sacrifice one of Maino or Bruno, and you push Martinez either as a left wing back You
Okay.
take Dalot out of the equation, and you put Mazzari in the centre as a right centre back.
Okay.
So you put that in. Okay. You still keep Delict.
Who will be the left centre
You put
back?
Delict.
Delict. Okay.
Yeah. I know you don't like him on the left, but you put Delict. And then you put Ahmad as right.
Yeah.
With Martinez as left. So you've got to take Dalot out of the system.
Yeah. And who do we have? Ericsson, Garnacho.
I think in comes Garnacho.
And then we have to swap Bruno.
You have
and
to
Garnacho.
swap Bruno
So
and
we have
Garnacho.
something like this.
Yeah.
And now we have more offensive players, at least one winger.
So I think that offers us better balance with Martinez at left, but we're still woefully under-equipped pace-wise at the back. We're also woefully under-equipped pace-wise with Agate and Mainu. So taking Martinez out there reduces some kind of pace, but I think that's a better balanced option for us. Now, could you argue we need Maguire in there for his experience? You can't play Maguire out at left.
No, he needs to be central.
He needs to be central.
Yeah.
So you then ask the question: could you bring Yoro in for Maguire? I don't think so. I think you're probably right. Maybe just not at this point in time. Then you've got Agate, you've got Maino. So you've got Agate and Maino as your kind of ball winners, and then you've got Bruno, Garnacho, and Hoyland. I think maybe that gives us an option.
But just what I see as positives, I see Martinez's passing ability. If he can receive the ball in this area,
which he needs to.
We have Garnacho. Let's say if Garnacho is here, he will be an Amorim player by heart who likes to run in this area here. So if Hoyland can get his finger out of his, and do a diagonal run, we suddenly are cooking when it comes to attacking.
Correct.
So it could work, but away against Liverpool on Anfield, maybe not the right time to experiments. But yeah.
But the problem we've got, if we don't, we're just going to get hemmed in. If you play Martinez and you play Delict and you play Maguire, you play Dalot, Mazzari, Agate, Maino, Bruno, Ahmad, and Hoyland, we are going to get boxed in. It's going to happen. We're going to get killed on the wings.
And Jay also comes in with the point to say this setup is putting all our eggs in one basket. We have options now. So yeah,
he's right. Your options are, of course, Ericsson, Xerxes, Rashford's supposed to be ill. I don't know. And then you've got youngsters after that, haven't you? You've got Collier, Amas. You've got all these youngsters. So, and Yoro, of course. So we don't. The problem is, Jarvis, we don't have options. This is his issue. His issue is we don't have the flexibility that Liverpool have got. I just feel if we go in with Dalot and Mazzari, we're on a hide to nothing.
Yeah. And what Liverpool have been doing so far, let's say we talked on the other side. This is us playing out from the back, but when Liverpool are playing out from the back, we are supposed to press them. Or I just want to add one more thing when our press play, because we have one option, and usually when the opposition press with 2, you press one of the centre backs up, and you press Mainu a little bit higher, just to push them back, because someone has to take. They won't let Mainu and Hoyland stand man to man against Van Dijk and Konate. So Gravenberch will be forced back, and there will be one less player in the press play, and for it to be effective, Onana will be a part of the setup. So it will be more like this.
Yes, but therein lies your problem, though, Jarvis. And I've said this for weeks. The problem is that Nana will get the ball, he'll knob about with it. Diaz will come into him, he'll push it to Manzari. Okay. And then McAllister will zip into Agate immediately. Gapco will probably just hang slightly to the right as I'm looking of Ahmad. And Manzari, where's he go? He goes back again to Anana. Anana then goes back to Delict. And this is the problem. They're just pushing and pushing and pushing. They squeeze us all the time. You then push the ball into Maguire, and then before you know it, McAllister's in on him. Before you know it, McAllister's there. Turnover, Salah's in.
Terrible position.
Salah's in. This is the issue.
Terrible position with a big gap in this area. And
we can't do it. Even if we do push Anana up, we can't do it. And that's when you were right in your assessment. They'll allow us up to about 25 to 30 yards. Then that'll be it. Then they'll start to really get aggressive with us. Aggressive on the ball, aggressive in the press, and chase. And you'll see Diaz chasing from Maguire to Mazzari, and Gapco will be hovering around just in case the ball spills. Get the ball back, put the cross in, bang. Can't have that. We can't allow that to happen because we will get absolutely smashed on Sunday. He can't do that. He needs to mix it up for once. You've got to tell Anana, don't always go short. Try throw into Ahmad. Try throw into Martinez. Don't go central, go wide, because if you lose the ball, they've got to attack you from width, which is what they're very good at, don't get me wrong, but we just can't allow them to push the press on us. We'll get absolutely hammered.
We will. And Stephanie comes in and say United are terrifyingly bad when they are on the ball. They are not good enough. And I agree. You're spot on, Stephanie. That's our biggest problem, lacks in quality. So, but going away to Liverpool, maybe they are focused. Maybe this is the time they will turn the ship around.
He needs to be focused. The players need to be focused. Amorim needs to be focused. Yeah, exactly. We just won't win the second ball. We never win the second ball. We don't tackle. We're not facially in their faces. We're not aggressive when they've got the ball. We don't push them, pull them. We allow them to wriggle past us. Joelinton on Monday night wriggled past 3 or 4 players at once. Gordon follows Ahmad across the pitch, wins the ball back, turns Ahmad over, and we're away. They're away. This happens. If that happens at Anfield, they won't be just away. The ball will be bulging in the back of the net.
Stu, when it comes to another thing, we were used to Liverpool on the Klopp was there, and also we see with Pep Guardiola is the press play, the counter press. As soon as they lose the ball, let's say Jones is here and Mainu intercepts the ball, we are used to. They are swarming. The 3-second rule or the 5-second rule. They swarm the guy and try to counter press and win the ball high up the pitch. But under Arne Slot, they are not doing this. They are just if they lose the ball, let's say the ball is intercepted in this area, Mainu receives the ball from Jones, they will not try to counter press. And
they go to 4-2-3-1.
They will just focus on forcing the opposition. They will block the central area.
They go to 4-2-3-1, Jarvis,
and try to force us to play the ball out wide.
And that's what we need to do.
On the second pass, that's when they start their intense counter press.
Yeah, that's what we need to. We need to get that ball wide, but instead of holding it, he needs a first-time ball into Garnacho or a first-time ball into Bruno, or it's all right getting the ball. When you allow a player to come onto you and you've got to turn back to go back to Delict, it's an irrelevance. It's a waste of time. It's dead football. Martinez or Dallo's got to get the ball down. He's got to move it, bang, straight out of his feet, straight into Garnacho. And then Garnacho's got to make a decision where he goes with that ball. Højlund's got to make a decision where he splits Van Dijk and Konate. Bruno's then got to make a decision. And Ahmad, when they come in, from the back and go around the back of Konate. There are ways and means of countering their press, I want 3 players coming to me because I'm just going to pop it off you. Bang, see ya.
But you
Gone.
see here when we talked about their press, they're always in a stable back four, almost always. And Stu is
I've just had to pop somewhere. Go on.
yeah. So this is one of the biggest. Um, Arne Slot is really good at being always in balance, even pressing hard with a lot of players. They are in the back four. So there won't be much room for us to play in because Trent will be here, Van Dijk will be here, Konate will be here, and as you see against Højlund, they have one extra man. So let's say Garnacho receives the ball here, he's up against Trent, but it's no problem for Van Dijk to support him, and Garnacho will be 1 against 2, and will be in a terrible
But that's
position.
because Højlund doesn't move. That's because Højlund doesn't move. So if you were to put Van Dijk back where he is,
Mm.
you know, Højlund has got to be shoulder to shoulder with Van Dijk. Forget Konate, not interested in. He's got to be shoulder to shoulder to prevent Van Dijk getting out towards Garnacho.
But
So
what
he's got to-
yeah, I agree, Stu. But what you see here is they are 4 against 3, so they are in balance, and this is the main issue.
Yeah, that's fine. But don't forget, Mainoo should be in and around the penalty spot. We've got Mainoo woefully out of position here. He should be in and around the penalty spot. But that's all right. Honestly, they can be 4. But if you don't put pressure on their back 4, you don't make Van Dijk look for you. You've got to make your defender look for you.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right about what you said. If Højlund is static, Van Dijk's going, can I say pick him up? But if Højlund is working that little area there, if you grab hold of Højlund, and you just grab him and just move him backwards and forwards, up towards Trent and down towards Robertson. If he's working that area there and down further, these two have got to make a decision. Van Dijk's got to make a decision. So he then forgets to focus on Garnacho. He's then got to focus on Højlund. Bruno comes in, starts muscling out Konate. They've got to. You can have as many defenders as you like if you're not pressuring them. If you're not moving in, you're not doing anything to upset them and readjust, then Van Dijk will be tying his shoelaces all game. He will be. Højlund has got to. I'm not saying he runs directly to Garnacho and takes a short ball. He's just got to move Van Dijk out of the way.
Yeah.
He's got to make Van Dijk follow him, and not, as you rightly said, and you, by the way, you did correctly point that out. You were right. Not go and gravitate to Garnacho. You don't want that. Or the second point is, if he did gravitate for Garnacho, so if you just did push Trent and Højlund and Van Dijk closer together, then that's where he's got to be on his toes. Højlund, exactly right. Or even towards the parallel to the 6-yard box, straight line towards the 6-yard box. Garnacho with a little dink in.
You mean like this area? Yeah.
And if Bruno's already on Konate, this is what I was saying about occupying defenders. Bruno's on Konate. Højlund's got. I'm not saying he's got a clear run, but he'll have a run on goal. If you don't occupy Van Dijk in that situation, you're absolutely right. If we do get the ball in, they've still got this perfect back 4. You've got to do something to occupy. If you don't, then you're going to struggle.
Brandtails Aura, that's a new name I haven't seen before. Big up.
Thank you.
Van Dijk will never go wide. And that's true, because he's very football intelligent. He knows where to move and the danger with it. So
Madhouse is right. We're not the best at the minute, pal. You're absolutely right, mate. I can't disagree with you on that, pal. It's just that there are areas where we can be dangerous and we can. We've said this before. Højlund doesn't occupy a centre half. He lets the centre half occupy him. You should never do. For a centre half to occupy you forward, it's brilliant because you kind of know you're going to be all right. But if you've got a centre half who's worried about what he's going to do, Højlund, then you've got a real problem. Can you do a straight line swing?
Sorry. I should buy myself one of those pens. It's so much easier than this one. It's it's terrible drawing. But I have this is a question, a good question from a bath time. He said that they use a back four in the press question mark.
Or a
Normally the
back
far
three. He
side
is a back four
go
or a back
back,
three. Yeah.
makes a back three. But
Correct.
when it comes to Arne Slot, he he use a back four in the press. At least what I saw in what I have seen in analysis of him, he's very balanced. Like six up top, four, and the back four is intact. You know, they are ready to jump all the time,
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
contributing, attacking.
yeah.
But he usually, and if you go back, actually look at the game we played at home this season, we had a lot of good chances, but Liverpool recovered really well because they had their fullbacks in position.
They recovered well and quickly, didn't they? But
Yeah,
again, if you look back at that game, we didn't occupy Van Dijk enough. We didn't occupy Kanate or whoever it was enough. As a forward, you've got to do that. Bruno's got to push in and occupy them. You have to occupy them. Give them something to think about. You have to do that because if you don't, like I say, it's a lot easier for them to have that straight line, that standard back line. So when the ball comes into Van Dijk, he can either knock it off to Trent. Trent can run 10 yards, or we can pop it off to Robertson, and Robertson can run 10 yards. Ahmad, Garnacho, Martinez, they've got to push, and pull. It's push, pull, push, pull, push, pull all the time. You push on Trent, they get round you, you've got to get yourself back. You've got to pull yourself back in to position. That's what you've got to do. It's a thankless task being a wing back. It's horrible.
It is. 22 likes, by the way, 70 people watching.
Yes,
I'm so grateful. Thank you guys for tuning in. Jarvis is sponsored by Etch a Sketch. No, maybe I should have, Stephanie. But Batham just comes in and clarifies, when you say occupied, you mean pin them to an area, like back into sharp elbows or running the spaces between them and your forward.
More running the spaces part time. Look, I'm all for one for using sharp elbows, mate. I take it a lot of weekends when I play. I give it out as well. I love a sharp elbow. But Hoyland's got to move. And if you've only got to move 2 or 3 yards, and you've got to take your centre half with you if you're quick. Because if the centre half doesn't kind of follow you, then he could get the forward to get the run on you, and then you've got a problem because chances are he's on the edge of the 18-yard box. You've got no time whatsoever to recover. It only takes 2 or 3 yards, and he's off you. He's got a shot in on target. So that's what I mean by occupying. But I do like the old. I like the old elbows.
Lavani comes in and says Van Dijk is not going to be occupied. He's the marshal of that defense. He will
He's
use
right.
all the
He's
arsenal
right.
at his disposal. Yeah,
he's right. But this is where that's it. Yeah. So this is where Hoyland has got to do something. Hoyland's got to do something. Walk in on Van Dijk. Walk into him. Push him. Pull his ponytail for fuck's sake. Just do something. Because actually, Iwan is absolutely right. He is the marshal. He is telling Kanate where he wants him. He is telling Robertson. He's telling Trent. He's telling Allison when to come, when to stay. He is absolutely right. He is the marshal. So don't let him be the marshal. Don't allow it. Stop it. Walk up to him and say, "I'm going to be your biggest pain in the ass today, Virgil, Van Dijk, whatever you want to call him, and get on with it." It's really. But we're not going to see him do that. Look, to be fair, we're not going to see him do that, Iwani, as well. I know you're going to come back in. We're not going to see him do that, and we know that. So I just need to make that clear. But this is what should be doing, as far as I'm concerned. That's what you should be doing. If you're not up there forcing an error or making Van Dijk think, just think. Jesus, I wasn't expecting that of him last time. What's he going to do this time? You're right, Iwani, and bath time. Van Dijk could be twiddling his thumbs for 90 minutes. We can't have that.
And now for the second phase, Liverpool's attempts to play out from the back. How will we solve it? How will we press? We know Amorim. He always goes with what we call the pentagon shape press.
Yeah.
And they rotate. When they press. Like this. That's how you rotate the press if the ball is here. So you're always aggressive, And the pentagon shape press is okay.
Not Sunday. Not Sunday. We need to have a diamond shaped Sunday, not the pentagon. We need to get Agate back in just below the centre circle. Keep going. We want
to have it here.
No, keep going outside the centre circle. Yeah,
all the way down here.
Got to be, because we know how aggressive they are in phase 2 of the play. We know that's where they go for the turnover. That's where they go for the jugular. That's where Tonali hit us, if you remember, on Monday.
But I think a lot of the issue lies in stopping Gravenberch, because he's been extremely good this season. And
so that's where Mino comes in. That's where Maino should come in. And now, not face him up. Correct. Zonal press him. Don't face him up. This is why I said, if you look at this and you've got Højlund doing something with Van Dijk and doing something with Konate, we've got an issue. You know, Bruno can be exactly where he is there. Amma can be slightly pushed up as well, you know. And you can almost not box them in or anything like that, but you can just make them think about their next pass. You know, what you were talking about, and Irwani was talking about the back line. They don't think when they pass. Have you noticed? They just get the ball and they pass it. They don't think. You need to make them think about where their next pass is. Oh my God, I haven't got Gravenberch on. Shit, what am I going to do now? Now, you could argue here.
For example, if we go really aggressive centrally, we want to block all the play in centrally. They have the plan B, and that's their fullbacks.
Which is why
they move wide, and then we have to rely on aggressive wing backs who will be ready to jump and go. But we always have the threat of these two guys, Gakpo and especially Salah.
Look where Agate is. That's why Agate's there. That's his sole purpose, to be there. Garnacho shouldn't be there. I know what you're saying. He shouldn't quite be there. Garnacho should be slightly higher. Yeah, a bit like that.
Yeah.
We want, on that situation, you want Konate to have to play to Robertson. And don't forget, at that time, Madari will be roughly around the light shaded area. He'll be roughly about there. De Ligt will be roughly about there. Maguire will be roughly about there. So that's the reason Agate in that position. Exactly what you just spoke about.
But now again, we all know that Ugarte is not a great player when it comes to defending big areas. He's good at defending small areas.
He doesn't need to be. He only needs to move a few yards to the left or a few yards to the right. Whoever receives the ball, either Gakpo or Salah. He just needs to be in that vicinity. It'd be slightly down, actually. It'd be roughly... crikey, you can't see my pen. Keep going on that trajectory. Keep going. Left.
This way.
No. Back to, there.
Yeah, okay, so you want him to press like this.
In that area. That's exactly where it'd be. So he doesn't need to be in your face pressing. He'll zonally press him. So all he's got to do is stem the tide. That's the reason he's there. And by the way, I totally agree with what you're saying about the pentagram. I totally agree with what you're saying. But with Agate there, that's your shield. Do you remember back in the day, our good old mate, what's his name? Mulby. Jan Mulby. You remember Jan, don't you? Jan Mulby. Jarvis, you still there? Have we gone? Hello? Is Jarvis there, guys, or am I gone? Is one of us gone? Hello, Jarvis. Is Jarvis frozen or am I frozen? I think Jarvis was frozen. Okay. I think he'll come back in a minute. What I was saying, the whole point of Agate being back there is that he doesn't need to facial press or really push the press. He just needs to zonal press. So the idea of him being more centrally is that he can look directly to the left or look directly to the right and move into that area to stop the flow of play. He's not going to stop the play, but the flow of play. I think Jarvis has disappeared, but he might be. Hey, here he is! I can see him. He's going to make a triumphant return any minute. Where did you go?
I don't know what happened. Everything just froze.
I was talking away, and you were like, "I don't know, Jarvis." You see what I mean? I was talking about Jan Molby. You know what I was talking about?
Yeah, Jan Molby. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I was talking with Jan Molby is, do you remember Jan Molby used to just operate within that centre circle, but occasionally he'd take that step back, and that's the spine of it. Basically, what I'm trying to say is it makes a really good central defensive midfielder because he's able to. Exactly right. What you've done there is exactly what I'm getting at. So all he's designed to do is stem the flow. It's level exposing our midfield. Yeah, he's there to stem the flow, but he won't stop the flow. If that makes sense. Do you see what I was getting at there, pal?
Yeah, Jan Molby is a great example.
Because don't forget,
he didn't move much, but he moved always in the right areas.
If you move Mazzari, Maguire, and De Ligt into the lightly shaded area, just at the very beginning, just slightly back, they'd be slightly back. Keep going back.
Oh, all the way here.
All the way there. That's where they'll be. They'll compact the middle. And then if Gakpo was to get the run on Ahmad, you've got Mazzari in. If Salah was likely to get the run because he's a very, very clever player, then you've got De Ligt in that area to, again, slow the play. That's what that's designed to do. But Molby was an absolute master of it, Jarvis. He really was. He was a master of it. But that's discipline, though. Let me be clear about this.
The issue for me is always Gravenberch, and the way and the thing is, he's very clever in his movement. And when you see Liverpool play out from the back, take notice of this. He will always stay exactly. I want to find this pointer. He will stay exactly the right distance between, for example, Garnacho and Højlund. He won't be too close to Højlund, too close to Garnacho, so it makes it really difficult for them to pick him up. And let's say if Højlund moves a little bit here, Gravenberch will move and try to stay in the middle, in between them all the time. So he's always a passing option. So how do you solve it? Okay, you stay a little bit more compact. You compact the space.
Yeah.
But then again, you use two players against one, and you leave Liverpool with one extra man, for example, Robertson or Trent. So they always got to be an overload on their plan B. So this is why stopping Gravenberch is so difficult, but it's so important. So this is the dilemma going against Liverpool.
There's one slight thing you can do, and it's massively dangerous. It's hugely dangerous. And that is if you leave Garnacho where he is, but you put Højlund behind, correct. You were other way. Behind Gravenberch. Now everyone's looking at me thinking, why would you do that? There's a reason for that.
Shadow pressing him, so he will stay in front of him.
Correct. So so you've got to stop the ball in from Konate. Garnacho stops the ball in from Van Dijk, which means, and if you looked at how it was only a small adjustment, wasn't it? It wasn't a big adjustment, a small adjustment. You've then got Bruno, who's got a decision to make, and he's best placed where he is. Because you quite happily allow the ball to go into Robertson.
Because you will most likely see McAllister dropping down.
Exactly right. So Bruno's almost correctly placed. So you're likely to then see the ball go into Robertson unless he goes for the Hail Mary, which I only found out what a Hail Mary was the other day in the NFL, across to Trent.
Hail Mary.
Yeah, because if he tries to get across
that's a dangerous pass.
Yes, if he tries to get across to Van Dijk, Garnacho gets him, doesn't he?
So, but they have to just.
He could go back to
Alisson.
Yeah. So there are ways of countering Mr. Slot. There are ways of doing it, and this is why I love football, by the way, Jarvis. Because by the way, guys, we're not saying we're right here by any stretch of the imagination. This is just our way of thinking how the game could pan out.
It's a think tank. You're just trying to figure out solutions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What could you actually do? And there's some brilliant knowledge as well in the chat. Jay made a really good point about Agate. He struggled at PSG as a lone CDM. He did in many ways, but his positional sense has been much better the last few games, and he's been a lot more productive, and a good solid partner with Mainu, with Bruno. If Bruno starts to get more involved rather than waiting for the Hollywood pass. We haven't even talked about Ahmed's dangers yet.
No, we haven't. We haven't.
At
And
all.
I just want to bring this comment up, and I think,
right.
yeah,
Sorry, right.
this is too
You are
complex.
right.
These players.
Yeah, you are right.
Oh, can you imagine Amorim in the team tactics meeting before the game, starting to draw lines and talking like this? They will be like this.
You're absolutely right. I mean, he's right. It is too complex for our players. But the interesting thing about it is football is making Liverpool have to rethink what they're doing. So don't allow muscle memory to come into play. Make them think. And sometimes if you step in by 3 or 4 yards, you'll actually make a player think, what am I going to do? How am I going to do it? Or why am I going to do it? So, the ball will come to you, Jarvis, on a Saturday afternoon. You've got it. And as the ball's coming across to you, you've got acres of space. As soon as the ball hits your feet, you look back and you see there's somebody 4 yards off you. Your decision-making process has changed from the moment the ball was kicked towards you to what you think you were going to do with it to what you actually will do with it, just by somebody moving in 3 yards, 4 yards, because you didn't see him in the corner of your eye when the ball was kicked, but as the ball's coming to you, he's there. Now what do I do? What do I do with it? Am I going to do what I was going to do originally, but then I'm going to be running into him? Or am I just going to play it back and see what happens? And that's just the beauty of football. That is the nature of the beast.
Yeah, it is.
What you said and what everybody said about Van Dijk is correct. He is the master of just conducting what Liverpool wants to do. If you
Lavani was the guy who said it. Yeah,
if you can make him think, if you can just make him think, I'm like, fuck, what's Højlund doing here? I've watched 10 tapes of him. He's never here. What are you doing here in my space? Now what am I going to do? He's just got to think. And if you can make a player think when the ball's coming to him, he could make a mistake. I'm not saying he will, but he could.
He could.
And if he does, we're in there. He's right. He's right. He's never under pressure. You're absolutely right. So why don't we put him under pressure? I'm not saying it'll work. I'm just asking a question. Why don't we put him under?
But could Amorim go gung ho in this game? With nothing to lose, because everybody expects us to lose 5-6-0 in this game.
Yes, he could.
Could he like, when I say gung ho, I mean go at their throat. Press high, press high.
For once, he's got a free hit. Since he's joined Manchester United, he's never had a free hit. On Sunday, he's got a free hit because nobody expects us to win. Nobody. Talk Sports. Relegation threatening United travel to Championship. Tabletop in Liverpool. Relegation threatened Man United travel to tabletop. We're not in a relegation threat just yet. We don't know what's going to happen.
It could happen, but let's not just go there yet.
No, I actually think Jarvis, he has got license to thrill. I think he's got a license to say, look, lads, if we lose this game 4-0, we lose the game 4-0. Look at the results that Liverpool have had. They beat West Ham 5-2. They've beaten X, Y, and Z. So if we lose, it's not going to hurt us too much. We might fall to 16th, but then our next league game is Southampton.
Yeah,
that's how you got to look at it. Yeah, and that's how I look at it. And that's how I would be looking at it. I generally don't see him doing that, by the way. I really don't. And I actually think your team is probably how he's going to turn up, Jarvis. I really do. And that just worries me.
Mick comes in with a comment. He say, I would do a 3-5-2 float Leach to butcher his fellow countryman in a double pivot with Ugarte. We talked about this last show.
We did,
actually
yeah.
playing each in the double pivot.
Yeah.
But for real, do you think this is something he could go for?
Actually, again, why not? Arne Slot and his mates, they're doing this at Melwood Training Ground, doing this, and they're chatting away. Oh, we got United Sunday. God, what should we tell the lads? You know, Mo, can you only score 3? Don't embarrass them this time. We don't want you to score 7. Because he's looking and he's going to have an idea. What if we went completely different? What if he turned up Sunday afternoon and Slot's going, oh shit, hold on, that's not in the manual. You can't do that. Do you remember Guardiola when Ollie beat him for the first time, and he's looking around, he's going to his coaches, what the fuck's going on? They don't play like this. What are we going to do? They had no answer. Do you remember when we beat them 2-1 at Old Trafford, and Guardiola was almost crying under Ten Hag because we went long. We didn't play out from the back. We went long. Guardiola's looking. What the fuck are we going to do? They bypassed Rodri. You take Rodri out of the game. We took Rodri completely out of the fucking game. We ended up winning.
There are ways. There are ways. Yeah. I see here probably and say don't go. Jarvis wants to kung fu fighting.
Mark's made a great point here.
Okay. Big up, Mark.
I tend to agree. I tend to agree. Yeah, because you've got to learn to play one formation. We're not anywhere near where Liverpool are, where they've got the ability to change formations. Because you're right, Jarvis. They do defend in a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
But they attack in a 4-2-2 or a 4-3-3. You're absolutely right, but they defend in a 4-2-3-1. Conventionally, we should defend in a 4-4-2.
But they don't play with a lot of width. You know, when we usually see let's put Liverpool here in the 4-3-3 formation, for example, as we used to see them under. Just remove all this.
We probably are. Yeah, we probably are dead. We're just floating an idea there, pal. That maybe, who knows, you could.
But usually are seeing Liverpool with Trent bombing on, Salah wide, so they have a lot of players going wide. But under Arne Slot, it's more like this. If you catch my drift, one of them, because you have 2 wide players on each side, but always one of them.
Yeah, they're very pressure centric in the middle. Yeah, they're pressure centric in the middle. Yeah.
So that's how he creates a lot of plays centrally because of that. He don't utilize the width that much. So defensively out wide, I don't know. We won't see. I don't think we will see our wing backs being pinned down as we saw against, for example, Newcastle. Who were really high and pinned them down. So we were really heavy in the back. We couldn't, in a way, come out. And it left a big space in the middle because our defenders didn't have the courage to move up. And Eriksen and Casemiro were defending all of this space by themselves.
They were, yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know how we can do it, but I think we can actually do it, and
we can.
It depends on the team selection. But I agree with what the tacticos in the chat has been saying about this. Help me out.
He's talking about not changing formation and being true to his word, and I get that.
Yeah,
and there are times where you can actually do the old Custer's last stand. You know, when they put themselves in a circle and they're all looking in different directions. You know, waiting for the Indians to come, and away they go. Set a fire around. You've got to be able to do that. You've got to put that mythical fire in and around the Liverpool players, so they can't penetrate you. They can't unless they get burnt. And the burning should be a fucking smack on the knee or an elbow into the gut or something like that. That's what it should be. The lads
ref is on this game.
Oh, it's Michael Oliver, isn't it?
Yes.
The lads are right. Madhouse is right. You know, he'll stick to his principle. He's absolutely right. Mark's right. He'll stick to his principle. He's absolutely right. But by sticking to your principles, you've got to have that aggression.
Yeah.
You've got to go toe to toe. You've got to stand up against them. you know.
Question coming in throw away. They say we are in another rebuild, unfortunately. How long do you guys think it will take for United to compete at the top 10, at the top league again?
8 years. We won't get there for 8 years.
8 years.
8 years.
Ah.
Well, let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question.
Can you please?
Let me ask you this question, guys. Let me ask you all this question. How many points did City win the championship by, and how many points did we end up with by finishing 8th? What was the points difference? It was 20 something, wasn't it? You'll have to let us know. We are currently how many points behind Liverpool?
Well, let's have a look. Premier League table.
Yeah, how many points are we behind Liverpool now?
So here we go. Liverpool is on 45 points, and we are on 22.
22.
Yeah,
22 points.
23 points behind.
23 points off Liverpool already. You are not going to make up 23 points in less than 8 years. 23 points. Just let that sink in. 23 points. Liverpool beat us on Sunday. It's 26. We could be 30 odd points behind. It just isn't going. You're not going to make up 30 points because you're relying on Liverpool collapsing next season or the season after. You're relying on Chelsea collapsing, Manchester City. Yeah. Okay, we don't know where they're going to be collapsing. Aston Villa collapsing. Nottingham Forest, if they finish second or third, collapsing. You're not going to make up 30 points. You just aren't going to make up 30 points. Arsenal, you're just not going to do it. Arsenal, what? Arsenal on 39 points. We're not even close to Arsenal. We haven't been close to Arsenal for 3 years, 3 seasons.
No.
We haven't been close to City. We haven't been close to Liverpool. You're not going to make that up within
8 years. I think that's a long time. I think wasn't it Ragnick who said it can be done in a couple of years?
But that was 3 years. That was 2 years ago. We haven't moved in 2 years. You've got to completely change the culture of the player that you get in. You don't just buy a Galactico anymore. You buy first and foremost. You look at the attitude. You look at the personality. You look at how many fights they've had with teammates. Why were they fighting with their teammates? Even before now, you look at their ability on the football, on the pitch. People are talking about let's get Gyökeres in. Okay, great. He wasn't deemed good enough at Brighton. Brighton sent him to Coventry. He has a stellar couple of seasons at Sporting Lisbon. Can he do it back in the Premier League? Who knows? Victor Osimhen, can he do it in the Premier League? We don't know. Can Ollie Watkins do it in the Premier League? Absolutely.
Yeah,
can Jarvis do it in the Premier League? Yes, he can. Can you do it in the Premier League? Yes, he can. We know all of this because we see them week in and week out, and yet we're shopping for the likes of Osimhen, Gyökeres, Mendes. A brilliant left back. You could see, if you watch the YouTube clips, it's about Mendes at PSG. Looks an absolute animal. Can he do it in the Premier League? Out of all our signings just recently, maybe Bruno, there's only one player that's come in and been at the races straight away, and that is our good old friend Mazzari. Nobody else has come in and gone straight to the races. Put him on that.
Bruno when he came in then, but
where is he now? You've got to keep going. You're playing it. So we don't want any more nice boys. We want arrogant. We want wankers. I think I maybe 8 years is a bit too much, but I bet you we're sitting here in 5 years, still no title.
Yeah.
I as good as Amorim is, and I believe he is the man to turn it around. He's got to be given time. You cannot give somebody 3 years anymore. Those are over. You've got to give them 5 to 8 years to do something. And at this point in time, we don't have the money for a start. He did. Sorry, bath time. He did, but I suppose he's tailed off, hasn't he? I guess. We don't have the money. We've got the stadium to build, which is going to eat into our capital.
talking about the stadium, I saw a video the other day about the electricity, the wiring on Old Trafford.
It's going to be condemned, Old Trafford.
By the way, why isn't it closed down?
Yeah.
The wires hangs everywhere. It's like a hazard for everybody. Electricity and the roofs are leaking. There's water everywhere. There's wires everywhere.
Terrible. I would
The
turn him
state
into
of
crazy.
Old Trafford is it's shocking. It's
Yeah,
shocking.
it's terrible. And,
Yeah.
and so you've got that, you've got the stadium, and then you've got to get rid of players, and then you've got to bring new players in. And if you don't bring Premier League proven quality in, then you've got to start all over again.
Mm.
You have to start all over again. So if he gets 3 players in the summer, you're starting again.
Mm. Mm.
You're adding another 3 players into it. You're starting again. You're starting again all the time. So he's got to look at it, plan it out for the next 3 to 5 years, get the team that he wants within that 3 to 5 year period, by the way, and then you can start. Maybe you can start winning leagues, but you can't do it in 2 years.
There's a question from Trevor. He says, "Is Stu blending into the wall, or is he a 3D cutout?"
Well, I've already upset somebody tonight with my shirt for some reason. Fuck knows why. But there you go. So,
Oh well. Madhouse is asking, turn
love to
United
get
into
into
the
the
crazy
crazy
gang.
gang.
Winnie
Yes, I'd love
Jones,
Vinny Jones, and I'd love to do that. Dennis Wise, he was a nasty
Dennis
bastard.
Wise, yes.
Dennis Wise, he was terrible. Dave Besant, decent keeper.
Mhm.
What
a great place. They won 1-0 in the FA Cup final against
Laurie
Liverpool,
Sanchez.
mighty Liverpool.
Laurie Sanchez, the only thing I think he ever did. I really do. I think, it was the only thing he ever did, Laurie Sanchez. But he did, and Dave Besant scored. John Aldridge missed a pen against Besant.
We had a Norwegian manager at Wimbledon one time. Do you remember his name?
No. Oh,
Norwegian manager at Wimbledon.
Wimbledon Norwegian manager. I'm going to know this
when you tell me. Beginning of the 2000s.
Yes, I'm going to know this when you tell me. I might have to ask Dean Holdsworth when I see him again next. Yeah.
Well, there were some Norwegian owners like rich fishermen that came in. They bought Wimbledon and they hired the former Norwegian national coach Egil Olsen.
Egil Olsen. There you go.
Yeah.
I knew what as soon as you said it. Yeah, Egil Olsen. Yeah, he was a hell of a coach, wasn't he?
Well, he was at Norway, but at Wimbledon he fell spectacularly. I think he relegated them. So yeah, that was the end of Wimbledon.
But look, you've seen some of the best managers in the world come to the Premier League and struggle.
Yeah,
Jose Mourinho couldn't get. He comes to Manchester United, he struggled.
Yeah,
Louis van Gaal comes to Man United, and he struggles. Eric Ten Hag was brilliant for Ajax, comes to Man United, he struggles. Amorim pulling up trees in Portugal, struggling.
I read some stats about the managers, ranking managers, and now you have the two opposites in how to manage. You have managers who are really into positional play, really like set up structures, and you have now, you call it relationalism. So it's about letting the players free. Ancelotti giving them a pat on the back and say, "Do as good as you can," and stuff like that. So I think we have. The ranking is, I think Amorim is second in positional play out of all of the managers in the top 5 leagues. So it's very structured,
and that's fine. And I get it. I do. But that's Amorim being structured, not the morons that are actually playing the game.
But it tells me that Amorim is in for a hell of a job when it comes to this game, because we know. Players like Rashford, especially Bruno, positionally indisciplined, and you see a lot of these players. How many cutback goals have we been conceding goals? Now we see set plays.
He's looked at it, Jarvis, and he's probably thought to himself, "What the fuck am I doing? I don't get it. I don't understand it. I thought I was dealing with professional footballers, and these guys can't grasp it." Now, look, he's made some errors. We know that. We know he's made some errors. Zirkzee was a bit of a victim of that, against Newcastle, but he made that error himself. He's got to own that error. He's got to own these errors. But the players have got to own their own mistakes. And Arne's got to own his mistake. Dallow's got to own his mistakes. Bruno's got to own his. We've all got to own our mistakes. Casemiro scores. Rasmus scores. The game's 2-2. It's a different game. Completely different game against Newcastle. We may go on and win it. We may not. Okay? But we don't know. But we don't score the goal, so we don't know.
We have the G-Wolf in the house. I just want to say.
Yeah, G-Wolf. Good to see you, mate.
Oh!
But
The G-Wolf.
And Amorim's looking at it thinking, well, hold on. We got him there twice. Clear-cut fucking head. Clear-cut chances twice. And we missed him. You can't do that at this level. And on Sunday, what if on Sunday we're getting battered for 89 minutes and we go up there and we get one chance all game and we miss it?
Yeah.
And well, what would the fan? Yeah, but how would the fans react to that? Now, me and you will look at it and think, okay, we've drawn 0-0, but we should have won the fucking game. We should have popped that away, and then we're celebrating 3 points. A lot of fans will be going, Amorim's this or Rasmus is that, or and that's what I like about football. That's what I love about football. We could just get up that league. Leicester should have battered City 5-1, 5-2.
Yeah,
I can't believe they're 4-5 clear-cut chances. On any other day when the cross comes in 50 minutes in the second half, Vardy scores. Any other day. But for whatever reason, so they're going with his head, he goes with his foot.
Yeah,
unbelievable, And
they should have won it. I agree.
So I'm not saying anything. This is all, by the way, ifs, buts, and maybes, guys. This is totally if, buts, and maybes. It really is.
Yeah, let's do. We are coming 1 hour 30 minutes into the show.
Right.
So, at the end of the show, I want your score predictions in for the game.
Yes,
and I want you to put the goal scorers for Man United. You don't have to put up all the Liverpool scores because it could be ugly. So we start with you, Stu. Give us your predictions.
I actually think, and I'm going to go with Mark Nurse on this one. I think we're going to frustrate them, Liverpool. I think Liverpool are going to be a bit cocky. I think Arne Slot's pre-match warm-up team talk is likely to be, lads, just go out and do what you've been doing. They've got a real, they're just not playing together. They're not playing with any natural ability. They're not playing with any natural prowess, fluidity. Go out and do what you do. You'll win the game 4 or 5-0 easy. That's what he will say. Something along those lines. We win. Manchester United will win 2-1. We'll take the lead.
Okay.
We'll take the lead. We'll go 1-0 up. It will shock Anfield. Anfield will be shocked to the core. And it'll be our good old mate, Garnacho, if he scores. If he plays, it'll be our good old mate, Garnacho. Liverpool will come back, 1 apiece, and I think it will be completely under the cosh. And I think we'll get a breakaway goal, Ahmad, to make it 2-1.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking. Liverpool's goal will be, it's only going to be one person, isn't it? Mo Salah. My biggest fear, lads and ladies, is that it's 0-0. Diogo Dalot comes on and does something about it.
So you said Garnacho
and Ahmad. 2-1. And Salah for the Scousers. Probably a penalty.
It's written down. So I will remind you of this.
What are you going for then?
Well, let's just see what the chat is saying. I just want to say hi to Dave 147 coming in. Say
Dave.
Evening, fellows, mods and chats. Big up to see. Good to see you, Dave. My prediction is I think we're gonna lose. It's basically, we are not there yet. When we won the FA Cup final against Manchester City against all odds, we actually played good football 2-3 games before that. We were looking good. We actually saw a shape, we saw a style of play under Ten Hag, and we came into that FA Cup final. City had just won the league. They were a little hangover. They didn't take it seriously, and yeah, that was
They didn't
us.
take it seriously, and I don't
Yeah,
think Liverpool will take it seriously.
yeah, that could be our only hope. Liverpool not taking it seriously enough, and us showing up at the day and give our all. But I suspect we will lose. I'm afraid that we will lose. We don't look good on set pieces, and I think we will be overrun. So 3-1 Liverpool, and one goal scorer will be Bruno on a penalty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. G Will's going 3-2. Danny B's going 3-1. Anyone else in there?
I saw 1-1 here. Aaron comes in and say, "I go for a
I'll
draw."
go for a draw. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll take a draw. I'll take a draw right away if you gave it to me.
Yeah. I'd take a draw. I would take a draw. I just got a feeling we're going to turn up Sunday.
I hope so. I hope so. J United comes in with a 1-1. And I don't know if you mentioned this. I'm going with a 3-2. We go down 1-0 thanks to Gakpo. Then Højlund makes 2 goals. He makes the brace to make it 2-1. Then Salah 2-2. And Ahmad scores the winner, making us 3-2, the end result. Yeah, that sounds like a dream. Let's hope it happens. So J 1-1. Dave comes in 2-1. Liverpool.
Yeah.
Trevor says if we concede early, there will be a
4-1.
3 or 4-1 to United.
Yes, well done, Trev.
Okay.
Jim the Judas is coming with another 7-0. Who
7
knows?
up.
Yeah, we can't go down 7-0. We just can't.
Yeah, but you know, I fully understand people not being too optimistic going into a game like this.
Yeah, of course.
It's a difficult game.
Of course. I just got a feeling. I could be completely wrong, and you're all laughing at me on Sunday evening. But that's the feeling. You know, if you've got to be of the mindset, and you always have to be in the mindset, let's go and turn them over on their own backyard. Let's make a real statement. And who knows? Who knows?
We did it against City, but City is much worse form. You know, Liverpool are coming off a 5-0 win against West Ham.
They are indeed. They are
in great shape.
They are in great shape, but they didn't have Jared Bowen, didn't he? Went off injured, didn't he? So
yeah, Jared Bowen.
Yeah, and you like Jared Bowen, remember? He's decent.
But Jay comes in with the final comment of the show. We say everything depends on if we turn up or not.
It really does. Yeah.
So I suspect the players, can they show up?
They've got to. They've got to. You know, it's a shame for me that Rashford's ill.
Yeah.
Ill. I'd love to have, but I'd have played him. Get out there, mate. Come on, you're a Mancunian. Get out there.
Yeah.
Roast Trent Alexander-Arnold because he's done it. He's had him on toast on many occasions. Push him back. Get Ahmad to push Robertson back. Yeah, who knows? Anything could happen. Anything can happen in a game of football. Look what Forest did to Liverpool. Look what Forest did.
Yeah. Forest is a good team. Yeah, but Forest are super solid at the moment. So yeah.
Solid. Yeah, so but Forest stood up to them and beat them 1-0. Anything can happen, pal.
Yeah. It's been a great show. 93 people watching at the moment.
Yeah,
I think we are on 28 likes. If you're watching this in a replay, smash a like and get your comments in after the show. Give me your predictions for the game, score predictions, and we can read them up on the next show. It will be funny. Who will be the Nostradamus? Who can see into the future? So get your score predictions in. It will be great. So it's been a good show. Jay comes in and say, "Nice one, Jarvis." Thanks to you both for the mod.
Yeah, pleasure.
You're welcome. It's good to have moderators in the chat. We need more moderators. So if if you want a job, tell me in the non-live comments and or send me a message on X.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my X and Stu's X is in the description. And when I
Yeah.
say X, I mean
Yeah.
Twitter.
Yeah. Give us a follow.
Yeah, Madhouse comes in for one.
Again, yeah. I mean, look, it's one of those, isn't it? It's either it could go our way or we could get absolutely battered. But I just really want to make sure that we win.
Yeah. So cheers, guys. Thanks to Jay, G Wolf, Trevor, Aaron, Madhouse, Dave. Let me just scroll up a little bit. Who else do we have? Stephanie, our beloved Stephanie, always keeping the count of the likes, good comments. We have Mick in the house. Bath time with a lot of good questions and comments.
Yeah,
Mark.
very good. Yeah, really good.
Yeah, so many of you, you know who you are. Thank you for contributing. You are a big part of the show, so thank you for tuning in. And we have a game coming on. Let's hope we can win it. So cheers, and leave a comment in the like after the in the non-live section after the show. So take care and have a good one. See you on the next.
Okay, guys.